Hello, good morning once again. We are now on the week 3, quarter 2 of our DISS class, or Discipline in the Ideas in the Social Sciences. I'm Mrs. Lori A. De Velos, your teacher. So last week, we discussed all about the different symbols that we saw in every place that we came in which it is considered as a language simply because it implies a message. For this week, we are about to discuss, after society, how do we make sense of an ever-changing us and them, a glance at contemporary social theories. So after the lesson, the learners should be able to, number 1, define a glance at contemporary social theories. Number 2, identify the breaking rules and debunking canons, and develop critical analysis in examining the changing world. So first, breaking rules and debunking canons. Society has clearly been the subject of much reflection all throughout social theory. Society strikes us as a delicate system, yet a very efficient bunch of integrated elements, a well-oiled machine, so to speak. So, naintindihan ang statement or ang pahayag or ang paragraph na ito. So, sabi dito, ang society daw is a very delicate system. So, lagi nating tatandaan, tayo ang bumubuo ng sosyedad. So, bakit kaya sinabi that a society is a very delicate system? Pero, a very efficient bunch of integrated elements. Simply because society composed of different institutions in which each institution has a role to perform. So, what are those elements? A well-oiled machine to speak. Kapag hindi kumilos ang mga bumubuo sa isang sosyedad, walang mangyayari sa sosyedad na yun. It will become stagnant. What do we mean when we say culture? Culture is the said fulcrum of all of our thoughts, actions, and interactions. So, ito daw yung kabuuan ng ating mga kaisipan, ng ating ginagawa, at paano tayo makipag-interact or mingle to other people. Modernity, the means through which we can grasp the present and envision the future of our human and social existence. So, in a modern way, paano tayo dapat na i-envision na natin in our modern society. So, for example, dati, pag tayo ay makikipag-communicate sa ating ibang kamag-anak, kaibigan, kakilala na nasa sa ibang lugar, we do it through letter. So, magpapadala tayo through a post office. But nowadays, no. With just a one click of our finger, our message will be sent to them in just a couple of seconds. Gender, the unabashed way of dividing the world between male and female, something that we learned from the very moment that we learned to talk and responded to our surroundings. So, we will be able to distinguish male from female. Kailan daw yung nagsimula? Umpisa daw nung tayo ay natutong maglakad at maging responsive sa ating kapaligiran. Nalalaman na natin, ay siya babae, ay siya lalaki. Regardless kung siya man ay bakla or tumboy. Still, no, we have only male and female. The era of many posts, 3 strands of contemporary social theory figure quite prominently in our glance. So, ano yung 3 strands na yon? The postmodernism, postcolonialism, and gender theory. We discussed it on our previous lesson. Babalikan natin. Once we say postmodernism, brings about a new epistemology that knowledge is no longer patterned after a firm belief in science. Instead, postmodernism believes that science is itself a human construct, a product of a particular time, a specific socio-cultural context and situation. Before daw, ang knowledge natin ay nakapattern sa science. But nowadays, hindi. Postcolonialism is closer to our hearts and experiences as a nation simply because we were at the receiving of a colonialism for almost 400 years under two different colonial masters. Sino yon? The Spaniards and the Americans. Sinapok po kasi tayo noong unang panahon. Kaya yung kolonyalismo ay hindi maaalis sa ating mga isipan. Lalong-lalo na noong mga unang panahon. Before, di ba, kapag sinabi natin imported, galing sa ibang bansa, gustong-gusto natin yon. Kasi we believe na matibay, maganda, sosyal, but nowadays, no. Postcolonialism is a reaction to the idea and effects of colonialism, not only in terms of how it had created visible and tangible forms of power, relations between the colonizers and the colonized, but also in terms of how it was able to manufacture invisible and ideological forms of unequal relationship between the colonizer and us Filipinos. So, tayo as a Filipino is considered as the colonized kasi tayo ang sinakop. Americans and Spaniards are considered as the colonizers simply because sila ang nanakop sa atin. At tanggapin man natin sa hindi, hanggang ngayon, no, meron pa rin tayong mga kaisipan na naiwan sa atin ng mga mananakop. Globalization beyond economics. We can easily associate globalization with economics and material wealth. We have been experiencing globalization since the time we started using cell phones, surfing the World Wide Web, and other products of the digital world. So, yon, no? Especially as Filipino, hindi tayo napag-iiwanan ng modernisasyon. Using those different gadgets, no, ay isang senyalis daw ng globalization. At in tayo doon as a Filipino. So, for your learning task 1, explain what do you understand about the era of many posts. So, you can write your answer in a paragraph form composes of 5 to 10 sentences. What is your idea all about the era of many posts? Let's continue. Indigenizing the social sciences. Is there a native intellectual foundation for social thought in search of the Filipino social science? Social science could not be separated from the realities of a given society, and this should always take into account its history, people, and surroundings. Once we say indigenization is a process in which there is a purposive and conscious effort to translate and interpret foreign academic concepts, canons, and methods in social science into the context of the local, cultural, and mold of native social life. So, yon. Ano bang sinasabi ng indigenization? It is daw a process of which there is a purposive and conscious effort to translate and interpret foreign academic concept. So, in-interpret natin, di ba? Translate natin into what? The context of the local culture. So, sa atin, as a Filipino, how do we apply it? Diba? Clamor for intellectual independence or a continued state of academic dependency. So, tayo ba ay nakadepende pa rin in terms of the academic? Do we simply copy what we see from the outside and attempt to employ or apply it in our specific situation? Ano ba ang natutunan natin, no? From the academic. So, ito ba ay kinokopya natin or binabago natin kahit papano? So, for your learning task 2, write down at least 20 borrowed words that we are using in communicating every day and their meaning. So, balikan natin yung mga ginawa sa atin ng mga colonizers. Ano ba yung mga naiwan nila sa ating mga salita na ginagamit natin sa araw-araw nating pamumuhay, sa araw-araw nating pakikipag-communicate, at ano ang ibig sabihin ng mga ito. So, that's all for our Quarter 2, Week 3. Congratulations everyone and good luck my DISS class.